This is where they store the merchandise ready for export. It's funny.
What is?
I expected it to be bigger. A lot bigger. But then, I was just a child when I was here, and I was in limbo.
What are you doing here?
Escaping my nightmares.
You came to Limbo to escape your nightmares.
Yes.
Hello everyone, Solid State SR71 back again with a video review. This is of DmC Devil May Cry, brought to you by Ninja Theory and Capcom. Ninja Theory, not the original developers. They worked on Enslaved Odysseys to the West and Heavenly Sword before this, none of which are a Devil May Cry game. That being said, they have undertaken the impossible and tried to reboot the Devil May Cry franchise. Some would say it's impossible. I would say it's completely possible. But let's move on to this review. So let's hit this. First thing is the presentation. This is a single-player only game with some multiplayer aspects. You got leaderboards. That's pretty much as far as we go as far as multiplayer is concerned, other than downloadable content. The rest of it is single-player, but you get a lot of content with this game, even though the game itself will take you somewhere around 8, 10, maybe 12 hours. 12 hours is really pushing it for a first-time playthrough, but once you finish Nephilim, or the... maybe not Nephilim, maybe normal, which is Devil Hunter, or easy, depending on... anyways, the basic difficulties take you about 8 to 10 hours, and then you have to keep doing subsequent playthroughs in order to reach the coveted platinum or completion rating on Xbox, or whatever it may be. You unlock more difficulties as you go that change up the waves of enemies and how many of them spawn, and even how much health they have. That's in Dante Must Die. They will gain a Devil Trigger ability, which will give them more health. And that sort of stuff unlocks as you play through the game over and over again. So if you're not the kind of person that likes playing games over and over again, this may be a problem. It does give you incentive to do it, but you still have to do it. On top of that, there's a lot of hidden collectibles in every level, hidden in nooks and crannies. Very hard to find. Easy if you use the internet, but difficult if you don't. And those will unlock secret missions that will then lead you to health and Devil Trigger fragments that will eventually give you more health or more Devil Trigger, depending on which fragment you get. So those secret missions are laid on you pretty heavy. Definitely helpful to do at some point or another. And that's pretty much it. So you're looking at about an 8 to 10 hour campaign. So let's move on to the graphics. This game, not the best looking game, but definitely a beautiful game. There's nothing wrong with the graphics here. It's very colorful. They're using the Unreal 3 engine. I believe it's 3. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's using the Unreal engine, and you know what that means. There's a lot of texture pop-ins, a lot of what regularly comes with the Unreal engine. That being said, the shadowing and the you know what? Dante looks great. I don't have any problems with the way that he looks, and I have no problems with the way that this game looks. I think it looks fantastic. It's not its best suit. Definitely not its best suit, but it's definitely not hard to look at. Moving on to the sound. This game is soundtracked by Noisia and Combi Christ, and even though I'm not a big fan of either of the artists, I felt like while I was playing the game that it was the right kind of music for the game. Even though any of the music really is my kind of music, I felt like it flowed naturally with the game. And that's what's important, as well as the voice actors did a great job with Dante and Virgil and Kat and everybody. I think that the sound effects were very well done. All the weapons sound great. Everything sounds great. It's a good sounding game. It sounds the way it's supposed to sound, I think. Moving on to the most important and the best part of DmC Devil May Cry, it's the gameplay. So, this is kind of the part that either fanboys hate or they love, or they will or will not try this game because of this. The gameplay is what's important. It is what's key to the DmC franchise, the Devil May Cries of the past. Luckily, this game does not screw it up. Now, with the footage that I put on here, this is post-patch, so there's a patch coming out, or there's a patch out, depending on which console you're on, that will allow the damage to seep down. So a lot of the initial issues that I had with the game, it being too easy, have now dissipated because a lot of the things that made it really easy before have now been changed with the patch. So if you guys haven't picked up DmC, maybe now's a good time. The gameplay, smooth, very, very smooth, very great. I was playing this on PC, and even 60 frames or 30 frames per second does not really matter. You're splitting hairs. Either way, it works perfectly. I didn't notice any problems with the 30 frames per second and the 60 frames. I didn't notice that much of an upgrade, so it's all the same there. But the important part is that the game has a smooth combat system. So each trigger maps to either your angel or your demon weapon, and if you have neither of the triggers pressed down, it acts as your sword. So it's just a perfect blend of combat, and it's a perfect it's a controller game. I think it's a very good controller game, because if you push on one trigger, one thing happens. If you push on the other trigger, another thing happens. It just seems to work with a controller. It's a smart way to put in combat, and it's a smart way to allow you to change moves and chain up a lot of great moves inside one long combo. So that's what's up with the combat. Basically, there's a couple enemies that you have to change between. Some enemies will only take damage from angel weapons. Some enemies will take only damage from demon weapons, and there's that sort of game that you have to play every once in a while. But it's mostly just the variety and the ability to do what you want to do with combos that makes the gameplay in this game so phenomenal. And I think they really nailed it. And to see that they made it harder, and that Demon Evade is not everything anymore, and that the score drops if you don't get into combat quick enough. The score will drop from a triple S to a double S, and then double S to an S. So keep that in mind if you guys are playing it. If you guys have received the new patch, if you're on PC. That's that. My overall thoughts of this game is I think it's a perfect way for them to have rebooted this franchise. I think it's a great undertaking. It was very, very difficult, I'm sure, for them to come up with an idea and come up with a way to make it work, even though a lot of fans and a lot of people put a lot of pressure on them. They managed to pull out with just this fantastic product that works everywhere. And I don't have much negative to say about this game. I really enjoyed every bit of it. Maybe that the gameplay gets a little bit repetitive because you play all the same enemies over and over again. There's a very small amount of enemies. I find a very small amount of weapons. And even though it's a small amount of weapons, you do get a lot of combos. But it's still a small amount of weapons. I think they could have added a few more. But other than that, I would say that this game is fantastic. If you're a fan of Devil May Cry, don't look away and just hate message this game. This game is definitely worth a shot at least. If not, I would purchase it. I think it's a fantastic game. Thank you guys for watching. If I had to give this game a score, I'd give it. What would I give it? I don't know. I didn't think about a score before we started this thing. I'd say somewhere between an 8.5 and a 9. I think that this game is definitely worth your time. I don't think it's phenomenal. I don't think it's fantastic. I think the graphics could have been a little bit better. More weapons, more variety. Not more variety, but more enemy types. But I think it's phenomenal, and I think that everybody should give this game a shot. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this, and I will see you guys in the next video.